Hello and welcome to you in this new video, which will be specifically for strikers and the skills you can do in or around the area to get in a shooting position. As a striker, you don't need fancy skills to get in a shooting position. In fact, it will be even easier and more effective sometimes to just shift the ball and have a shot. But in some situations, it will be more effective for you to use a skill just before shooting instead of shooting carelessly. Plus, let's face it, it looks cool and you will stand out from other strikers if you do it properly. This video is the long version when you will have the skills as well as the tutorials on how to do each and every skill. However, if you're only interested in the skills and no explanation whatsoever, you can go on the description box below and the link will be there. I hope you will enjoy the video and it will be useful to you.
For the first step, you will have to fake the shot and follow it by a touch with the inside of your foot to stop the ball. Make sure to swing your leg and lift your arm to really act as if you are going to shoot. The second step is simply that immediately after you stop the ball, you should push it with the inside of your foot once again to accelerate away as quick as you can. This is all steps together. The first step, you should do a forward body fence, not to mix up with a sideways body fence. Step number 2, outside cut backwards. This cut shouldn't be really one, but more of a drag back, where you don't chop the ball, but more drag it towards you with the outside of your foot. Step number 3, you should do an inside touch to push the ball forward. Make sure to push it far enough so you can accelerate away. Together, it looks like this.
For the first step, you should push the ball on the side with the outside of your foot. Then, for the second part, you should get the ball back with the inside of your foot, but the part close to your toes, to push the ball towards the inside. Together, it should look like this.
For the first step, you should make sure that the ball is moving as this skill uses momentum to surprise and dribble the defender. The faster you are going with the ball, the harder it will be for the defender to keep up with you. And for the second step, you have to hit the ball with the inside of your foot behind your standing leg. Make sure to jump just before hitting the ball, which will enable you to change direction even faster. This is all together.
For the first step, you should do a drag back towards the side and not backwards. The second step is the most complicated one, yet the most important. You will have to rotate your hips to turn your whole body and act as if you are going to accelerate in the direction you just done the drag back. It's extremely important that this rotation be done at the same time as you are doing the drag back, as this is what will mainly feint the defender. Pay also attention to the position of your standing foot, because it is what helps you to keep your balance while doing this combo. And finally, the third and last step will be an inside cut with your strong foot that will allow you to go in the opposite direction as well as get away from your defender. Together, it looks like this. For the first step, you should make sure the ball is moving. Then for the second step, you should lift your strong foot to act as if you are going to push the ball with the outside. And the third step is that instead of hitting the ball with the outside of your foot, you have to hit it with the inside, but more accurately, the part near to your toes. Make sure to jump slightly at the same time to propel yourself forward. Together, it should be like this.
For the first step, you shouldn't drive the ball directly at your opponent, but more slightly towards one side, so it will move in the same direction. By moving in the same direction, it will be wrong-footed when you will change yours. The step number 2 is to do a fake touch, which you will use to make your opponent believe that you will keep driving the ball in the same direction. For the step number 3, just after performing the fake touch, you have to do a forward body feint, which will greatly emphasize the previous steps and which will deceive the defender even more. The fourth step is an outside cut done to one side. Make sure to also jump slightly to propel you. The fifth and last step is an outside or outside forward touch to get away. Together, it should look like this.
For the first step, you should make sure that the ball is moving to allow you to give you momentum when you will go to the side. The second step is to do a step over with your strong foot. Make sure to go around and not over the ball. Same thing that you did for the second step, but this time with your weak foot. Once again, go around and not over the ball. For the fourth step, you do a step over again, but this time using your strong foot. Make sure for this one to emphasize the feint by dropping your shoulder as you're doing it. It will fake the defender even more doing this. The fifth and last step is an outside cut done forward with your weak foot to eliminate completely the defender, but also to go forward. Together, it gives you this.
The first step is to be moving towards the defender. Whether it is slowly, jogging, or even sprinting, it is important that you are moving when you are doing this feint because it uses your momentum. For the step number 2, you should be doing a feint with your strong foot as if you wanted to push the ball with the inside. To do this feint perfectly, it is important that your standing foot be close to the ball. Step number 3. While doing the first feint, you should emphasize it by doing another feint, but this time with your standing foot. Make sure to do it with your upper body too, and not only the legs, so the defender really believes you're going this way. And finally, for the step number 4, you should do an outside forward cut to definitely get rid of your opponent who has probably went the other way. Done like Leo, it should look like this.
The first step is to push the ball 45 degrees in front of you with the inside of your foot.
but the part close to your toes. Then the second step is immediately after you have pushed the ball with the inside to push it with the outside, with the part close to your toes once again. Together, it will look like this.
For the first step, you should ensure that the ball is moving to give you momentum. The step number 2 is to do a light touch with your strong foot to position the ball perfectly for the skill. Then the third step is to do a step over with your weak foot to act as if you are going to push the ball with the outside of your weak foot. But instead, you do the step over. Make sure to go around the ball. For the last step, you should push the ball with the outside of your strong foot to be able to accelerate away and leave the defender for dead. Together, it will look like this.
For the first step, you should push the ball with the outside of your foot to put it on your strong foot. If you're on the move, push it in the same direction. The second step is the fake shot. Standing foot close to the ball, strong foot and arm in the air as if you really wanted to kick it. And finally, the third and last step is the inside cut, which should be done laterally to prevent the defender from touching the ball.
Together, it will look like this.
For the first step, the ball should be moving straight ahead. Step number 2 is that when you are at the distance necessary to be able to touch the ball, you should act as if you are going to strike it by raising your arm and planting your strong foot as if you are taking a swing. This step is very important because it is the one that makes the defender believe that you are going to strike the ball. The third step is that instead of hitting the ball, you make an outside touch to continue accelerating in front of you. When you do this, you should be one step ahead of the defender so you can follow up with a shot or continue dribbling. The first tip I would like to give you is that if you do multiple fake shots, you should always keep accelerating rather than slowing down just before doing them. And finally, the second tip is that depending on the situation, you can also use the inside of the foot, but make sure that the defender is not able to take the ball from you, because when you do so, the ball will move a little bit more towards him. So keep that in mind.
Together, it should be like this.
The first step is that the ball has to be rolling in front of you. The speed at which it goes is not really important, but the direction is. To realize this combo perfectly, the ball should be rolling straight ahead of you. Step number 2, you have to do a feint as if you wanted to push the ball with the inside of your strong foot straight in front of you. Make sure to not touch the ball. Also, pay attention to the position of the standing foot, which is important to fake the defender even more. For the step number 3, just after you've done the feint with your strong foot, you should do another one, but this time with your standing foot. The feint with your standing foot will enable you to emphasize the previous one and deceive the defender even more. Make sure to do it also with your upper body and not only with your legs. Doing these two feints quickly without touching the ball will give you a sort of double feint, which is nearly impossible to stop. For the fourth and last step, you should do a forward touch to definitely get past your opponent who has probably been fooled by one of the two feints. all steps together should look like this.
The basis of the skill is to be moving. The faster you are going with the ball, the harder the skill will be, but also the more effective it will be to eliminate any defender. For the second step, you will have to do a light touch to position the ball perfectly for the skill. The light touch will enable you to emphasize the feint which is coming. The first step is the step over with your strong foot. Make sure to really go around the ball and to also drop your shoulder when you're doing it. And finally, the last step is to accelerate the other way with the outside of your weak foot. Make sure to push the ball far enough to outspeed your opponent. Together, it will look like this.
For the first step, you should be on the move. Know that the faster you go with the ball, the harder it will be. But it shouldn't be almost a standstill either. Try to find the right balance to do it effectively. For the second step, you will have to do an inside step over to fake the keeper. Make sure to lift your leg and your arm right before you do so, to make him think you're going to hit it.
Together, it should be like this.
For the first step, the ball should be rolling in one direction, preferably towards the goal, but it doesn't have to be. The second step is the fake shot. Standing foot close to the ball, strong foot in the air as if you really wanted to kick it. Your body should be turned as if you are going to do a curling shot, and finally your arm should be raised too. The third step will have to be a touch with the sole made forward and laterally to eliminate the goalkeeper or the defender who was on your way.
Together, it will look like this.
For the first step, you should position your standing foot just next to the ball to make your opponent believe that you are going to hit it. Make sure to turn your body to bring the defender even further to the side so that it will leave more space on the other side. And for the second step, you will have to use your sole to bring the balls towards the side of your standing foot to have a shot or accelerate away.
Together, it will look like this.
The first part, you should push the ball to the side with the outside of your foot. And then the second part, you should push the ball to the other side with the inside of your foot, but the part close to your toes. Both steps together should give you this. To start, you have to push the ball to the side of your strong foot to prepare for the skill. Then you have to push the ball with your sole towards the support side. Chain directly with a step over using the same foot to be able to position yourself for the next step. This step over is not made to feint the defender, so no need to accentuate it. And finally, get the ball back with an inside cut made with your weak foot. Make sure to do a body feint at the same time to further deceive the defender. Together, it should be like this.